Welcome to All Villa, No Filler. Please like and subscribe to the show. As of Thursday evening, Sevilla fullback Marcos Acuña is on the brink of joining Aston Villa from Sevilla. That's according to numerous media reports. Today, I'm joined by Ruairidh Barlow, who is editor at Football España. Ruairidh, welcome back to the podcast. What's the latest on Acuña to Aston Villa?
Yeah, I mean, the latest from Spain is that President Jose Castro of Sevilla has said that there's been no kind of formal contact or formal interest. That was on Tuesday night. So, I mean, we may have had developments since then, but publicly, that's what he's saying. And there's very much if Monchi wants him, then Monchi can get in contact and to try and bring him in. But so far, there's no deal been struck, but certainly there seems to be a consensus that there's definitely an interest from Villa wherever the deal gets done. I think Sevilla will probably demand a reasonably high price for Acuña because he is one of their best players, even though he's aging. So yeah, I don't think this will be a deal that will be done necessarily on the cheap too much. But Sevilla are not in a strong position financially, and neither are they in terms of kind of their squad. So they will want to get a deal done.
Okay, well, yes, he's over 30 years of age, which seems to catch the eye of quite a lot of people. But even sort of though he is over 30, it'd be a new experience in the Premier League. Just how good is Acuña?
Yeah, I mean, very much like Alex Moreno when he joined, he's one of the best left backs in the league, it has to be said. I'm a real big fan of Acuña, and I think he's one of the players that kept Sevilla afloat and kept them kind of just about head above water last season when they were battling relegation. He's one of the players that was central to their efforts getting to the Europa League final, even if he was eventually suspended for their win over Roma. But he's a key part of how they kind of set up under Julian Lopetegui previously, under Jorge Sampaoli. He didn't quite see eye to eye to him, but he was still one of the best performers under his compatriot Sampaoli. And under Mendilibar, I mean, he was always kind of in the team. I mean, they had Alex Tellez there, who was obviously formerly of Manchester United, but Tellez never really got a look in while Acuña was there, and that's frankly because he was just so much better than him. I think he's a player that I really rate highly, and I think amongst Spain's left backs last year, I think Alex Moreno would have been one of the players I would have highlighted as one of the best in the league, and Marcos Acuña very much up there with him.
Well, that's very good to hear because obviously, Moreno has improved or impressed so much at Aston Villa since he joined, and Acuña's stats when you look at them actually going forward are very strong as well as his tackling, really, really high standard. But what do you think he can exactly bring to Aston Villa?
Yeah, I think if you want to compare and contrast to Moreno, Moreno is one of those players who's very quick. His timing of the run is brilliant. He gets in behind defenses very well. He's very much kind of a flying presence down that left side. And whereas Acuña, I think formally in his career, he might have done a little bit more of that, but with age and with kind of the team that he's been playing for in Sevilla, he's kind of, tapered or kind of adjusted his game to that. And so where Acuña gives you so much value is with the ball and being able to find that cross. I mean, you saw it against Manchester City for that En-Nesyri goal. He picks him out in the box, he whips the ball perfectly onto his head. The pace is exactly right. And that is the weapon that for me stands out the most with Acuña. It's that ability to pick out a player, to pick out a cross, even sometimes kind of an angled through ball where he'll come a little bit deeper, he'll pick up the ball and then find that pass in behind the defense. And I think that is where Acuña is most impressive for me. He still gets up and down reasonably well. He's strong, as you say, in that tackle. He's kind of very kind of tenacious. I mean, he has that kind of Argentine, I mean, it's Uruguayan phase, but Gara, that kind of aggressiveness, that ability to compete, to not accept defeat. And sometimes that tips him over the edge a little bit, as you kind of see he gets the odd red card. But just looking at his stats there, you said, I mean, 3 goals and 4 assists in 45 matches last season. I was actually a little bit surprised because I kind of thinking back, I thought that would maybe be a little bit higher, but it was kind of a struggling Sevilla side last season.
Yeah, and how sort of versatile do you think he is? Is he very much stuck to the left wing, or can he be pushed forward, or can he even play on the right as well?
You could maybe play him, and I wouldn't put it past Unai Emery because I know he likes double fullbacks every now and then. You saw that at Villarreal, he had Alberto Moreno ended up playing in centre midfield at times, but he played kind of as a double left back system with Alfonso Pedraza. So I could definitely see Acuña and Moreno doubling up. If it were me, I would have Acuña kind of further forward and then Moreno getting beyond him because, as I say, Acuña's management of the ball, his ability to pick the right pass to find exactly where the ball should go is superior to that of Moreno, whereas Moreno, as you say, and as you've seen, his ability to kind of get beyond and get to the byline is where he kind of stands out. So I think versatility, he's stuck to the left flank. I don't expect to see him anywhere else but there. But I think you could definitely see a system, and certainly under Unai Emery in particular, where the two of them double up and form kind of a double left back.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you that, because I remember at Villarreal, Emery liked to play the two left backs together, and I do wonder with these two options whether he might actually move to that when Moreno eventually makes his return, which is apparently sometime in September. But overall with Acuña, he's a World Cup winner with Argentina as well, so he'll be joining up with Emi Martinez. But how has he performed at Sevilla over the years? I mean, you say he's one of the best in La Liga, to be honest. I mean, is that good, basically?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, he had a few kind of up and down spells, and he's a character. Like he really he has his views, and he's not afraid of expressing them. He was kind of at the center of this controversy last season when Jorge Sampaoli was handing out tactical notes, and there was a sort of scene where Oli Torres was kind of had this note in his hand, and he was showing it to Nemanja Gudeli, and the two of them were kind of deciphering this note, which it was an A4 piece of paper. It seemed to have quite a lot on it, it has to be said. And Acuña kind of comes over, grabs the note, scrunches it up, throws it away, and tells them to get up the field. And kind of, he has character. He's certainly not afraid to express his views. So I think what you will get is somebody that is, he's not kind of a shrinking violet in any sense. And that is part of what brings his game to the forefront, because I think when things are going poorly and when things are going badly, he won't kind of bite his tongue about that, but he'll also kind of dig in, and he'll be one of the players that I think you can rely on to put in a performance, I think. And Acuña, he's fiery. Last season there was accusations that he was missing a couple of games that he shouldn't have through injury in the lead up to that World Cup. Acuña came out and said he was very hurt by that and was very kind of frustrated that kind of had been put out there. But certainly when he's on the pitch, you see him 100% committed. He's not somebody that's gonna see himself kind of superseded by the situation. So yeah, I think he's one of the best in La Liga. As I say, that kind of management of the ball, I think he's with the ball and the ability to kind of find the right man. That's where he stands out. That's where his best attributes are. But he's not afraid of getting to the byline either. His crossing is very good. His tackling is very good. I'd say almost as a defender, it's not so much necessarily that he has pure kind of defensive skills that make him stand out, but that tenaciousness has made him a very good tackler. Positionally, I think he's decent defensively, even if at times he can be got at. So yeah, Villa are getting a very good left back, and my only surprise is that perhaps Unai Emery going for both of these players, will both of them going to get enough minutes? But yeah, maybe he does intend on using them both at the same time.
Yeah, I am fascinated to see what happens. If Acuña does definitely sign, and when Moreno comes back, I'm really fascinated to see how he juggles that. And of course, Luca Dean is there as well, but by all accounts, Luca Dean may be heading away from the club. Every time I've ever watched him play, particularly for Argentina, I've always thought he looks like a player who could be in the Premier League. He's got that kind of like physicality about him, I guess, which you really need. I mean, do you see him, getting on quite well in the Premier League, a bit of a natural fit?
Yeah, I don't see any problems, certainly. I mean, I think it's one of the kind of like tropes that in South America, perhaps it's starting to kind of be reversed a bit, but in South America that football is kind of very pretty and everyone there is very skillful and it's all fantastic to watch. Whereas the very much these days, the truth is that it's the most physical leagues in the world. I think to make it out of there, you have to be supremely talented because you're going to get kicked at some point. And Acuña is one of the people that will be doing the kicking, but he does have the talent as well. You talk about kind of his physicality. I mean, he's stocky, kind of looks a bit like a Roberto Carlos kind of figure in terms of kind of his literal shape. Now, he's not, I think he's lost a yard of pace from kind of 5-6 years ago. He's not quite as quick as he used to be, but I certainly don't see him encountering any issues as to kind of being shrugged off the ball or anything. He will make his presence felt.
Okay, and when it comes to cost as well, Sevilla, as you were saying earlier, financially aren't in the best shape. How much do you think Villa might have to go to for him? Will it? I heard 5 million quoted. I can't imagine Sevilla would be happy with that level of finance. But if you were to think where Villa might have to go to, where would you say?
Yeah, I wonder if kind of the 10 to 20 million mark might make sense for all parties. They're looking at Borna Sosa from Stuttgart as their kind of replacement for him. So you're going to have to factor in the cost of Borna Sosa essentially, which I'm kind of thinking will be around 6 to 8 million, plus a decent enough profit for Acuña. I mean, this, as you say, is 31. That stands out for the wrong reasons, but it means that Sevilla will be conscious of the fact that he's one of their higher earners. They're probably not going to get a decent opportunity unless perhaps Saudi Arabia comes along to sell him again. So they'll want to get a deal done. But yeah, I wonder if kind of around that kind of 15 million mark might make sense for all parties. Acuña will obviously probably get a wage rise at Villa as well. So yeah, I think there'll be intentions from all sides to get this deal done. Sevilla too many people in their squad, quite frankly, and so it benefits them to sell players as much as they can in these kind of final 2 weeks. As much as Jose Luis Mendilibar, I don't know if you got it, is very frustrated that people keep buying his players even though the season has started.
Yeah, I can't imagine they're enjoying it too much seeing their players going. But I guess just as a final question, just to finally sum it up, what should Villa fans expect from him really if he does turn up? What mostly do you think we should expect to see?
What should you expect to see from Marcos Acuña? Well, you're probably going to see a lot of what you saw from Argentina in the World Cup, which is, yes, there's talents. Yes, there is plenty of ability in that side, but more than anything, it will be that tenaciousness, that aggressiveness, that ability to fight and really kind of burst the gut for the cause. That's what Acuña, I think, is defined by in terms of what stands out from him initially. But as I say, to go with that is that quality and is that use of the ball. And I think it's something that doesn't necessarily stand out first swing, but increasingly I find that in modern football these days, that crossers of the ball, people that can really pick someone out from the flanks, are increasingly harder to find because I think, fullbacks, they get to the byline and they pull it back more often. I think wingers generally these days are dribblers or cutting inside. So I think where Acuña can really kind of make hay for Villa is that kind of delivery and finding kind of those forwards, because I think, yeah, increasingly it's hard to find somebody that can actually put it on somebody's head with the required kind of pace and dip. And that is what Acuña has for me. Those two aspects, that kind of without the ball, that aggressiveness and that character that we spoke about, and the ability to pick out a striker with it.
Well, it's been brilliant to chat to you, Rory. I always massively enjoy just chatting football generally with you. It's really, really interesting. But for those who may not know, where can we find your work online?
Yeah, likewise, Frankie. Online you can find me at Ruairidh Barlow, which is RURIBARLOW. On Twitter at Football España is where you'll find most of my work, and at La Liga Lowdown as well. You'll find me there. So I'll be in plenty of places this season again.